Hi everyone, Tracy here. I have had a lot of requests on how I did the binding for my vintage mini that I swapped with Kate. So today I finally got around to making a tutorial to share it with you. Now this album here is going to my sister, so I just started it. I don't have any embellishments on it or anything. So there's the front cover. Then you open it up and you have your 2 pages, and then you have your binding in the center. It's pretty simply done, actually. So what I like about this way of binding is you can fit a lot more bulky embellishments in between each of the pages because it expands open. You see how because the binding is so much thicker, you're not left with a mini album that opens up like that. It expands at the back also, so it'll be a more flat book. So let's get started. Okay, so after you choose what type of album you're going to use, and I'm using one of these chipboard mini albums from the $1.50 bin at Michael's, and I'm using a scallop one just so you can see that this binding can be done with even the fancy borders. And what I like to do is, because this is a scalloped edge, I don't want to cover it with paper and cut around all the scallops. You can do that, and I'm sure it'll be beautiful if you do, but I don't like to cut tedious things. I am not a fussy cutter. I don't care to do that. So I take this method, which is faster and easier for me, and I just paint around the edges. And you want, because this is scalloped, you want to make sure you get in between each of the scallop because you don't want to see any of the chipboard. And I'm using just one of these pouncer brushes because you cannot ruin them. The worse they look, the better they work. So I don't mind, really going to town and punching in here into the... I don't like to use my good brushes on this because those are for better painting. And I know my husband, he has borrowed some and ruined them. The big flat ones. And I'm like, you know what? That cost me like $30. And he's like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, I'm serious. So he usually asks me now, which paintbrush can I use? So he doesn't have to reimburse me. So anyways, now that these are all painted, I'm going to pick my papers out. Now, I'm not sure which papers I'm going to use. I'm making this for my sister, and I know she likes blue, so I might start with blue and I might end up with brown. Who knows? But I figured black goes with everything, so that's why I painted it this color. And when you're painting one or the other side, always check the other, like when you're painting one side, flip it over, because sometimes like when you're painting this side and you're trying to get into the scallops, it'll leave a big goop of paint. So you want to go to the opposite side and just give it a quick little swipe with your paintbrush to make sure you don't have those goops on one or the other sides. And the next thing we're going to do after we have painted the front and the back of each page is we're going to bind our pages together. And what I use is actually real bookbinding material. I got this at a local bookbinding store in town, and he just gave them to me. He said that these were his scraps and he just gave them to me, so that was really nice of him. And if you don't have a bookbinding store near you, you can just use cardstock, a heavy-duty cardstock. So the first thing you want to do is measure how long you want it. And I want mine from scallop to the next scallop here. So I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to cut that. So once I have it cut, I'm going to figure out how deep I want these pages. And I'm not sure how deep I want these pages because I don't know what I'm going to put in here, like how big my pockets are and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to score it at every ½ inch. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I have it scored, and when I fold it, you'll see here, these 2 ends are going to be attached to either page, and then this part here is how wide it's going to be. And then what I do is I put the red, this red sticky tape on it, because this is the strongest adhesive I have, and it's easy to work with. So I'll add that on either end. Okay, now you don't have to add it to your first page, of course, because you don't You have nothing to stick that on page to. So what I want to do is I'm going to stick mine between the first and the last scallop, and I want it just behind the scallop. So we'll put it from end to end and just end to end there, and then give it a nice push down. The second page is a little bit more, then I like to turn it upside down for the second page because I know I'm going to put it from one to the other scallop, and I can see the shininess of the tape that I know to go up, and I know my scallops are going to be even. So there we go. And then there's your binding, and your book is closed. I'll show you that again. I'm trying to take this sticky tape. There we go. I like to turn it this way, fold it, and then you can see everything. You can see where your scallops are, you can see where the tape is going to end up, so you can see exactly where you want to place it. And then once you put it down, then all your pages are lined up, and then it's time to decorate it. And so there we go. But I'm going to give this to my sister, and she loves the color blue. It's her birthday tomorrow, and I know I'm not going to get this done by tomorrow, but I probably won't see her tomorrow, so I have a few days to work with it. So I'm going to cover the chipboard now with the papers. So all we have to do now is adhere our paper on our pages, and I cut this paper 5.5 by 5.5, and I think I'm going to like how the blue is with the black. And then you just go through and you adhere all your paper on here, and then add your embellishments. So there you have it. That's how you do the binding for this type of mini. I hope this helped you out. Thanks for watching. Bye now.